Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real quick. Unstoppable ain't a word reserved for superheroes or geniuses. It's for anybody, yes, anybody who's willing to do what most folks won't do every single day. I'm talking about routine. I'm talking about habits. I'm talking about showing up even when you don't feel like it. Start your day with vision, not distraction. The way you begin your morning sets the tone for everything that follows. The first few minutes after you open your eyes are the most powerful moments of your day. What you choose to focus on can either fuel your momentum or completely drain it before you even step out of bed. So when you wake up and immediately reach for your phone to check notifications, scroll social media, or respond to messages, you're not just wasting time. You're giving the world permission to shape your mood, your mindset, and your mission for the day. You're allowing distraction to take the wheel before your own vision even has a chance to speak. That's why unstoppable people protect the start of their day like their life depends on it, because it does. They don't wake up hoping the day goes well. They wake up already deciding that it will. They set the tone by anchoring themselves in gratitude, clarity, and purpose. They know that starting the day reactive is like starting a race backward. You can't win like that. And when you start your day with vision, you give your mind something to lock into. You wake up with direction, not confusion. You're not wandering through your day hoping to get lucky. You're moving with focus and intentionality. It doesn't take hours of effort. It takes a few quiet, powerful minutes where you center yourself, speak life into your goals, and remind yourself of what you're here to do. That means before the chaos starts, before the noise of the world enters, you take time to visualize the life you're building. You speak out loud what you expect from the day. You see yourself walking in confidence. You declare that you will not be shaken by setbacks or distractions. Vision isn't just about the long-term future. It's about how you see today, right now, in this moment. It's about choosing to approach each hour with a sense of direction and power, rather than drifting from task to task and wondering where your time went. The most unstoppable people in the world don't always have more resources. They have more intention. They make fewer excuses and more decisions. And those decisions begin the moment they wake up. They know the power of small rituals, stretching, prayer, reflection, journaling, reading something that builds them up instead of breaks them down. They don't let other people's chaos dictate their first move. They don't open emails and messages until they've had time to open their mind to possibility. They use their mornings to get clear, to remind themselves who they are, to align their day with their values. Because when you wake up with a sense of mission, distractions don't hit the same. When you're focused on your path, you're not easily pulled into comparison, doubt, or fear. That's how vision works. It acts as a filter for your focus. You don't need to do everything. You need to do the right things. And the only way to know what those right things are is to begin your day with the clarity that vision provides. We live in a world that wants to keep you reactive. You bombarded with information, opinions, and noise from the second you wake up, but you have a choice. You can wake up and take back control. You can start your day by feeding your mind, not frying it. You can remind yourself why you're here, who you're becoming, and what you're capable of. You can choose to live on purpose rather than default. That's what separates the unstoppable from everyone else. They don't leave their day to chance. They create it. Discipline beats motivation every time. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are fleeting. They come and go, depending on your mood, your environment, your energy level, or the people around you. One day you're excited to get started, and the next day you're not even interested. If you rely on motivation to show up and perform, you only win some of the time. But discipline is different. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline isn't about waiting until you're inspired. Discipline is a decision to do what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. And the people who succeed at the highest levels in life, in business, in health, in relationships, they all have one thing in common. They've learned to be disciplined when it's hard, not just when it's easy. They don't need hype or applause to take action. They show up, they execute, and they repeat. That's where real success is built. Discipline is what gets you out of bed on the days you want to stay under the covers. Discipline is what gets you to the gym when your body feels tired. Discipline is what makes you open the book, finish the project, make the tough phone call, or speak up when it would be easier to stay quiet. Discipline is what turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results. Motivation might help you start, but only discipline can help you finish. It's the glue that holds your goals together. Without it, you'll start strong and quit just as fast. With it, you'll keep going long after the excitement fades. And that's the difference. The people who win are the ones who work while others wait. They don't negotiate with their goals. They don't allow their emotions to run the show. They've trained their mind to follow through no matter what. Discipline also creates freedom. A lot of people think structure and routine are restrictive, but the truth is, when you're disciplined, you're in control. You're not a slave to your feelings, to distractions, or to whatever is happening around you. You get to choose your response. You decide how your day unfolds. You create time, energy, and space for what matters most because you've removed the mental clutter. There's freedom in not having to debate with yourself every time something difficult comes up. Discipline removes that debate. You only have to wonder if you should do the work. You've already decided that you will, no matter what. Discipline also builds self-respect. Every time you do what you said you would do, even when it's uncomfortable, you strengthen your belief in yourself. You start trusting your own word. That's powerful because when you know you can count on yourself, there's nothing you won't attempt. You stop waiting for external validation because your confidence is coming from within. You're proving to yourself every single day that you've got what it takes. That kind of inner strength can't be faked and it can't be given. It has to be earned, and it's earned through discipline. See, when you look at people who've achieved greatness, you might think they're special or gifted, but most of the time, it's just that they were consistent longer than most people were willing to be. They kept showing up. They kept working the plan. They kept pushing even after the novelty wore off. And that's not motivation, it's discipline. You can build that too. It's not about being perfect, it's about being committed. It's about making decisions that align with your goals, even when those decisions are hard, especially when they're hard, because that's how you grow. That's how you level up. That's how you win. Not by waiting to feel ready, but by acting like it anyway. Win the morning to win the day. The way you start your morning sets the tone for every other moment that follows. Most people don't realize that the first hour of their day is the most powerful and the most wasted. They roll out of bed, hit the snooze button, check their phones, scroll through social media, and already let other people's lives, noise, and opinions take over their mental space. They step into the day already behind, already distracted, and already drained. But those who understand the power of momentum, those who are building greatness, they protect their morning like it's sacred. Because it is. The morning is where your foundation is built. It's where your mindset is framed. It's where your strength is gathered before the world throws its weight at you. You don't rise to the level of your motivation. You fall to the level of your preparation. And the morning is where that preparation begins When you make the decision to own your morning, you take ownership of your life. You no longer leave your peace or your productivity in someone else's hands. You begin the day on your terms. You feed your spirit before you feed your inbox. You silence the noise before the world starts screaming. This isn't about doing what's trendy or checking off a long list of tasks. It's about getting still, getting focused, and getting aligned with the person you say you want to become. It's about investing time into the kind of habits that build clarity and confidence. Maybe for you, that's 5 minutes of gratitude, reading something that sharpens your mind, journaling your goals, working out, praying, meditating, or simply sitting in silence. The activity itself matters less than the intention behind it, because what you're doing is reminding your mind and body that you are in control. You're not running on accident. You're running on purpose. Winning in the morning also means being proactive instead of reactive. It means getting ahead of your emotions, your schedule, and your stress. When you wake up and immediately go into reaction mode, you hand over your focus to whatever grabs your attention first. But when you start the day with purpose, you walk into the next hours with direction. That's when your decisions become intentional. That's when your time gets managed better. That's when your energy feels more focused. You start to say no to things that don't serve you because you've already said yes to your own plan. The distractions don't pull as hard. The setbacks don't shake you as much because you've already done the inner work before the outer world got loud. Winning in the morning doesn't require perfection. You don't have to wake up at 4 o'clock a.m. or complete some complicated routine. What matters most is consistency and intention. Even 10 purposeful minutes in the morning can shift your entire day because what you do consistently compounds. It adds up. You may not notice the impact after one morning, but after 30, after 90, your life starts to look different. Your mind becomes clearer, your habits become stronger, your results begin to align with your goals. And it all started with a decision to stop letting the day happen to you and start happening to your day. When you win the morning, you don't just change your schedule, you change your identity. You start to see yourself as someone who is disciplined, focused, grounded, and intentional. You walk differently. You speak differently. You lead differently. Because your morning didn't just prepare your calendar, it prepared you. And that kind of preparation gives you the edge, gives you the ability to show up fully, face challenges with strength, and lead your life with confidence and clarity. Feed your faith, starve your fear. Every single day, you are feeding something inside of you. You are either pouring energy into the part of you that believes or the part of you that doubts. Most people don't even realize that fear is being fed constantly through what they watch, what they listen to, the conversations they entertain, and most importantly, through the thoughts they repeat to themselves. Fear doesn't need an invitation, it just needs your attention. And once you start giving it that attention, it grows. It builds stories in your mind. It builds images of failure, rejection, embarrassment, and pain. And the more you focus on what could go wrong, the more paralyzed you become. That's how people get stuck. Not because they don't have the talent, not because they don't have the opportunity, but because they keep feeding fear while starving their faith. Faith and fear both demand your focus. They both require you to believe in something you cannot see, but the outcome they produce is completely different. Faith produces action, courage, confidence, and growth. Fear produces hesitation, excuses, avoidance, and stagnation. And you get to choose which one you allow to lead your life. That choice starts in your thoughts. What are you repeating to yourself when nobody else is around? What are you saying about your future, your abilities, your worth? If the conversation in your mind is full of doubt, then your actions will reflect that doubt. But if you begin to speak life, if you begin to declare what's possible, if you begin to believe that you are worthy, able, and equipped, then your life starts to shift. You need everything figured out to feed your faith. You just need the willingness to redirect your focus. Faith is not pretending that fear doesn't exist. Faith is choosing to act anyway. It's choosing to trust something bigger than your circumstances, bigger than your past, and bigger than your current limitations. You might not know how it's all going to work out, but you trust that it will. And that trust is what gives you the courage to move. You don't have to have full confidence to take the first step. You just need enough belief to try. Once you move, your faith grows stronger. Your actions feed your belief, and your belief fuels more action. That's how momentum is created. To starve fear, you've got to stop giving it space in your life. That means being intentional about what you allow into your mind. Guard your inputs. Be careful about the voices you listen to, the content you consume, and the people you surround yourself with. Choose environments that lift your belief, not lower it. Speak truth over your fear. Replace every doubtful thought with a declaration of faith. It's a daily battle, but one you can win with consistency. Because every time you choose faith over fear, you reclaim your power. You remind yourself that fear is a liar and that the only thing it's trying to do is hold you back from what you're truly capable of becoming. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. A lot of people think success comes from big moments, loud victories, and overnight wins, but real success is almost always quiet. It's built into small, repeated actions that don't look like much in the moment, but compound over time. Most people are obsessed with intensity. They want to go all in for a few days, make a dramatic change, and see instant results. But the truth is, intensity fades. It burns hot, but it burns out fast. Consistency, on the other hand, is like a slow flame that never goes out. It doesn't need to be flashy to be effective. It just needs to be repeated. Day in, day out, no matter what, even on the boring days. The most unstoppable people in the world aren't necessarily the most talented or the most motivated. They're the ones who are consistent. They've trained themselves to keep showing up, even when it's not convenient, even when it's not exciting, even when nobody is watching. That's what separates professionals from amateurs. Amateurs work when they feel like it. Professionals work regardless of how they feel. It's not about how much you do in one day. It's about what you do every day. Small actions done with intention become habits. Habits shape behavior. Behavior builds character, and character is what leads you to your highest potential. Consistency is how you build trust with others and with yourself. Every time you follow through on a promise you made to yourself, you build confidence. You prove that you can be relied on, that you don't quit when things get hard, that you mean what you say. That kind of inner trust can't be taught. It has to be earned through action. And it starts with keeping the little promises, the daily disciplines, the routine steps that feel ordinary but lead to something extraordinary. It's easy to get inspired. It's hard to stay committed. But the people who win are the ones who do the work long after the excitement is gone. They've learned to be consistent with their attitude, with their effort, and with their focus. They don't chase results. They chase habits because they understand that results are just a reflection of the habits they've built over time. If you want a different outcome in your life, you don't need a breakthrough. You need a better rhythm, more disciplined approach, a commitment to do the work even when it doesn't feel like it's paying off yet. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. It means you show up again. If you fall off, you get back up. If you miss a day, you don't miss two. You hold yourself accountable, not because someone is watching, but because you decided that your goals are worth it. Over time, consistent effort becomes part of who you are. It becomes your standard. It's not something you turn on and off. It's how you move through the world. And once that shift happens, everything around you starts to align with the person you're becoming. Unstoppable people stay uncomfortable on purpose. They understand that growth doesn't live in the comfort zone, it lives in the stretch zone. The space where things feel uncertain, where challenges are real, and where fear tries to convince you to turn back. But instead of running from that discomfort, they move toward it. They invite it because they know that every time they lean into discomfort, they are becoming stronger, sharper, and more capable. Comfort feels good, but it rarely produces anything meaningful. It tells you to settle, to stay quiet, to wait until the timing is right. But the truth is, there is no perfect time, and comfort has a way of making you forget your purpose. That's why unstoppable people learn to live in the tension between where they are and where they want to be. Choosing discomfort isn't about making life harder just to prove something. It's about stepping into the situations that demand your growth. That might be speaking up when your voice shakes, saying yes to an opportunity that scares you, or taking the first step toward a goal that feels too big to reach. It's about being willing to look foolish, to make mistakes, to be vulnerable, because that's where learning happens. When you choose to challenge yourself, to push your limits, and to take action despite the fear, you're teaching your mind that fear isn't a stop sign. It's a signal that you're on the edge of transformation. The difference between average and exceptional is that exceptional people get comfortable being uncomfortable. They understand that nerves and doubt don't mean they're doing something wrong. It means they're doing something new. And new is necessary. You can't create a new result with the same old habits. You can't expect to grow while doing only what's familiar. The process of becoming better always involves friction. There will be resistance, there will be setbacks, but every moment of discomfort is shaping you, preparing you for the next level. Unstoppable people don't wait for confidence to show up before they act and confidence catches up. They fail forward. They embrace the awkward stages of becoming. They know that comfort creates complacency and complacency kills progress. So instead of avoiding the hard conversations, the tough decisions, or the risky moves, they lean into them. They stretch, they stumble, they grow. And in that process, they discover strength they didn't know they had. Every challenge becomes a classroom. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity. And every uncomfortable step becomes a part of their story. While others retreat, they rise. While others pause, they push forward. Not because it's easy, but because they've learned to value progress over perfection. And the more they lean into discomfort, the more resilience they build. The more courage they uncover. The more unstoppable they become.